Good evening. It is May 22nd, 2017, 7 p.m., and I'm Gary Rakes, President of the Speedway Town Council, and I welcome all of those in attendance at our meeting this evening. I'd like to introduce those at the lead table and then move right into our agenda. To my immediate right is Councilor Eileen Fisher.
Good evening.
To my left is Councilor David Lindsay.
Good evening.
To his left is Councilor Jason Delisle.
Good evening.
Our town manager is to his left, Jacob Blaisdell.
Hi.
And our clerk treasurer is Monty Combs, and he's on the far left.
Hello.
And this evening we have Ben Haviland and Grace Oath here to lead us in the pledge. So if they'd come forward to the lectern, we'll give you the big thumbs up to get started. If everyone would please rise and salute the flag, follow our leaders.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm going to hand it over to David Lindsay.
Grace and Ben, don't walk away. Not that easy. You thought it was that easy. Mr. Mahan and Mr. Verdonner, if you could step forward. I invited Grace and Ben to our council meeting tonight. My son goes to Wheeler. He's in 6th grade. Today was the graduation of the 6th graders, and I've attended for the last 5-6 years the All-Pro Dads every Friday morning. Or, I'm sorry, not every Friday morning, once a month. That Mr. Verdonner and Mr. Mahan have volunteered their time to come in at 6:45 in the morning. They both know I'm a morning person. I love going that time of the day. But Grace and Ben have won an award as part of the All-Pro Dads, and I asked if they would lead the pledge tonight. And Mr. Verdonner, I believe you're going to explain the award and kind of the program, if you would.
Sure. Thanks, Mr. Lindsay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we've had a great time running All-Pro Dads. Mr. Mahan and I started about 7 years ago, and we kind of came to each other and said we just need some kind of program that gets dads more involved in the mornings and maybe just in schools, get them in the schools. And so we kind of threw around some ideas, and he came to me and said, what about that All-Pro Dads program that Tony Dungy has started? And that sounds like a great idea. And we kind of took off from there and had a small collection of people and kids, and these guys were some of them because it was 7 years ago, so these guys were kindergartners when they started. I had to check with Ben. He started when he was a kindergarten and really, really small, and so proud of them now that they won a scholarship that we hand out from a former member. It's a memorial scholarship in his name. It's Todd Stewart, a former member that we lost way too early, and so they fill out an application. We really think about service, and these guys exemplify what we look for in Wheeler, and great kids, just not only with grades, but participation and service and leadership, and just so glad that they could be a part of that. We've had 4 or 5 winners so far. They get a plaque that goes up in the school, a certificate, and a $250 scholarship that is all money that's raised from the dads themselves. And we have great dads that donate prizes and money and all kinds of things. And everybody always asks, well, what can we do to help? And the only thing really to do to help is just come and enjoy. We have lessons that hopefully dads and kids get together and they say why they're proud of their kids, and it's a great time to just be together and be dads, and just we appreciate doing it. I don't know, anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. Questions?
How many dads are part of All-Pro Dads on an annual basis, realizing not every week everyone comes?
Yeah, we average about 65 total people per month.
Fantastic.
So you're looking at about 40 kids.
That's
about
great.
20 to 25 dads and moms or grandpas or uncles or next door neighbors who we've had just about everything show up to fill the purpose of a dad, depending on the month. So, but yeah, usually about 65, and so about 650 total people per year. And obviously, some of those are the same people, but about 650. And we have a year-end breakfast that the SPT puts on for us, and it's a warm breakfast. The rest of the time, we just have donated bagels from Einstein when we can find an Einstein that's still open. So,
If you could, the last meeting in May that we have is the warm breakfast, but I think it's kind of neat, some of the prizes that are awarded, or the raffle that we have, if you can name a few of those.
Yeah, sure. Through the Pacers donated this year, they donated a team signed basketball. We also had 2 qualification race tickets. Let's see, Mr. Bardon and I sponsor a golf thing for a kid and a friend. Fire truck, police ride to school, so I think that's really cool. Anything else?
Teachers.
Lunch with teachers, just about every one of our teachers.
Is that cool?
They think it is. They think it is.
They went today. Ben went today.
Yeah, Ben went today. Grace, did you go?
No, I'm going in the next few days.
Next few days still. So.
I think the important one to mention is what my son won, which is name the food for the day from the cafeteria.
Name the menu, yeah. And then a real popular one is being on the staff kickball team. One member gets to be on the staff kickball team. So.
Well, there's a certain first grade teacher that had both of you. And I know her really well, and she has terrific memories. I think that was her first year to be a teacher at the school. She really thinks that you're 2 of the best students she ever had, and from that first year, you were just a terrific memory. So, congratulations on getting all the way through Wheeler.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so done with the pledge and talking a little bit about All Pro Dads, and we're on to item 2 and 3, which are approval of minutes of the Town Council meeting from May 8th. That was a regular Town Council meeting. Are there any changes or edits or comments on those minutes? We'll accept those as presented, and approval of executive session from that same day, May 8th. Any changes to that memorandum? We'll accept that as completed. Next up would be a proclamation for one Don Hickrod. Don, if you wouldn't mind coming forward.
Okay, well, Don, I'm going to read, but I wasn't given this until now, so this is the practice. It says, this is a proclamation declaring Don Hickrod Day. Whereas Don Hickrod began his career in the town of Speedway, excuse me, in 1979. And whereas Don has worked tirelessly through 38 years of snowstorms, floods, thunderstorms, and race events, and whereas Don has shown up to work every day with an infectious positivity that spread through the entire street department. And whereas Don will begin his retirement on June 1st, surrounded by his family, including his grandchildren, which are his pride and joy. Now therefore be it proclaimed that that the Speedway Town Council proclaimed the 31st of May as Don Hickrod Day in the town of Speedway. Adopted this 22nd day of May, 2017, is signed by Council President and our Clerk Treasurer. Don?
Thank you very much.
Sure.
You guys come out in front of the
Thank you
podium.
very much, Council.
Come on out in front of the podium. Let's get a picture of that, please. The lights are kind of playing with us here. It's great. All right, thank you. So Don, go step back if you would, and we're going to grill you with some tough questions. Maybe
lost
not.
out
Maybe
there.
not. No, just accolades. I'll start by saying I first met you a long time ago. I still didn't have hair, but it was
Yes.
you were kind of loaned over to the parks group, the parks board, and remember the first time we started working. What I remember very specifically, and what I've seen all these years, is how conscientious you are about quality, and that things be the right way, not just an acceptable
Didn't
way.
always end up that way, but they
Well,
I had intentions.
That was always your goal, and then you're very positive. You know, it was a can-do attitude, and I know our parks are better today because of that. And I'm sure if Wendell were to come up, and he's welcome to do that, if he wanted to make any comments about you,
We don't want to hear that, do we?
having been your supervisor for all these years, I'm sure he'd have some great comments.
It's
as
been a
well.
pleasure to work for the town for all these years. I figured I'd be fired within 6 months after I got here, but I lasted out almost 40 years. So me and the wife talked it over, and it's just time for me to go. So, you know. And that right back there. So, am I on TV?
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, it's time for me to go. So,
tell us about your family. How many kids, grandkids?
got two of them's here, and all all my grandchildren's here. I got 4 grandchildren, and one's taller than I am, so.
Is that the one you were walking around the park years ago?
Yeah, oh yeah. We used to go out there and play swords out there in the park, and I still got a little branch that he called a gun that I keep still. So I've had that for, I don't know.
I'm kind of looking down the line here, and your time when you joined the town, all of us were either in high school or maybe not even born.
Yeah.
With the exception of Monty down the way here.
Yeah, that's the way.
So
A lot
just
of
want to make
guys,
sure you knew that.
a lot of the guys that I work with wasn't even born when I started here, so, yeah. But it's been a pleasure to work for the town. I'm not leaving for any certain reason, it's time. I've enjoyed my time here, and my boss, Wendell, he's been, been great.
Come on up, Wendell. Is council any other comments?
Before Wendell gets started, I think a lot of people know, I worked for the town from 1988 to 1998. So I met Don in 1998, was a dispatcher, got to call him at 2 or 3 in the morning when we needed him to come out. And the positivity that was mentioned in the proclamation, spot on. Your attitude all these years is great. The hard work you've done is great. And you're a great man.
Not at 2 o'clock in the morning. It just didn't come to me.
But let's put it this way. Compared to some people I had to call, yours is
Well,
great.
I understand.
And Wendell was always great.
But I don't have to worry about no more snowstorms. I don't have to worry about no more floods, I'm just going to relax. I'm going to enjoy.
Isn't it kind of like the military that for a period of 5 years afterwards, we could actually call you back? Isn't that how it works?
3 days a week.
3 days a week.
Wendell?
I just want to say thank you.
Been my pleasure, sir. Been more than my pleasure.
Good. Like the proclamation says, it's all positive. We've worked opposite of each other. Become his boss. He's been a support, a backer. Does a nice job.
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. It's been a pleasure to work for you.
Thank you.
We got a few more days to go through, so we'll see if we can get through this race.
Thank you very much,
Well,
Don.
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Enjoy your time.
Thank you.
Enjoy your time.
So we have a fairly abbreviated agenda this evening, which is a good thing. It's a busy month of the May. So we'll move on to comments and reports from our clerk treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. President. The claims I've submitted, unfortunately, were not as accurate as I wanted them to be. I was short last week on staff, and normally these come through very clean, and I'm not sure what happened, but a lot of the you'll see on the pages are some SRC claims that have already been passed through the commission last week, and I'd like to be able to get approval on the claims, but I'll send you an amended one without the SRC data in it. And we can go from there if that's acceptable to council.
Do we have a motion towards that, please?
Mr. President, I move that we approve the claims presented to us minus any SRC fees that they have already approved and amended claims for our files.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. Any questions for clerk treasurer on this? Any questions or comments from the audience? I'll go ahead and ask for the vote. All those in favor of approving the claims as presented, subject to the edits and changes as discussed, please say aye.
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 Opposed?
Thank you, and I do apologize and make sure I look at
Okay, that was
a couple
4-0.
times next time. The utility adjustments, you have those before you as well. It's not a heavy money, but we did have one customer that had a very severe leak that was the majority of the adjustments. And I would appreciate your approval on those, please.
Mr. President, I move we approve the adjustments presented to us by clerk treasurer.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the adjustments to the utility expenses or payments. Any questions or comments on that? Any questions or comments from the audience? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's passed 4-0. Any other things to report, Monty? How's this
No,
week
I
looking
just-
for permits and things like that?
I'm sorry?
How's this week looking for race permits and the month looking so far?
Well, in my experience here, you never know what to expect. Sometimes it's real steady, and then sometimes it's just they gang you at the last couple of days, and that's what we seem to be working for. For this week, we're going to get bombarded here come the latter part of the week, but it's gone okay so far. But and the staff's handled it, and just for everybody that watches, as David always says, we have we'll be open Saturday from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. to issue permits the day before the race, and that's worked out real well the last 3 years. So, and I'll be sure again to get you an amended copy of the claims after the changes, so you have it for your files.
Thank you. Okay. Item 6 on the agenda is a report from our town manager. Jacob?
Yes, Mr. President. We're planning on a busy week this week. You might have heard of the Indianapolis 500. It's coming up. Spoke with several people in town as well as our public safety guys yesterday, actually, and we feel prepared. All systems go. We just ask everybody to follow Jason Deardorff's directions, observe parking and traffic restrictions, and just to be patient and welcoming as we invite a few 100,000 of our closest friends into town for this upcoming weekend. One thing I want to mention is the Aging in Place program. You guys might remember that Deb Lilly came in at our April 24th meeting. For anybody watching at home, if you want to go back and look at the YouTube videos posted, she described the program. I'll give the abbreviated version. It's just to help people who might need financial assistance improving their homes so that they can, as the program says, age in place. It also covers, in fact, it first covers health and safety issues, and can just help people, you know, if you need a ramp or some doors widened, things like that. Candidly, we haven't had a whole lot of applications back to us. And just to review the process, we need people to apply for the funds within the town. Then we will take that as part of our application to get the grant awarded at all from the state. So for those that might be thinking, well, I don't need so much help, or I don't need quite as much help as others do, we would ask that you please still go ahead and apply. It actually helps our larger case, our larger application to the state, so that we can get funded. So even if you don't think that you have a lot of need, just by applying, you're actually helping everybody else so that the town of Speedway can get this grant. So if you're having questions or concerns, either send them to myself or Michelle Leidy, and we'll either answer them or get them to the appropriate experts that can help you fill out your application. But please get those in. We're looking at June 14th, June 15th to get those in. That's kind of a soft deadline, but we'd really like to get everything in by June 15th. And then the last thing I want to mention is Wendell has been working really well and very hard with Department of Public Works and the schools to fund a couple of what are called Hawk system crossings. And Mr. President, you might recall when we met with the Cunningham neighborhood group, they had some concerns about one of the crosswalks, and there's a flasher there, but sometimes when, particularly for like daylight savings time, it doesn't quite get adjusted. We actually don't, as a town, we don't control the timing of that because it's on Cunningham. This system would take care of that and then some. It actually allows or prevents traffic from crossing at all. A pedestrian goes up to it, hits the button, and says that they're ready to cross. And in doing so, it stops traffic safely. We're working to put an intersection, to put one of these Hawk systems at 18th and Cunningham, which is where the flashers exist, but also on High School Road at High School and Hickorywood Drive. It only activates when there's a person there, so it shouldn't impact traffic too much, but it should be a lot safer for the pedestrians, particularly school children and students trying to walk to school. So we're going to be accelerating that. We're actually, Wendell and I are meeting with some engineers to start looking at design tomorrow, and we'd like to get it in place. It's going to be rushed, but we'd like to get it in place before the start of the next school season. And with that, that's my report, unless you have any questions.
No questions from me. One comment, I did see one of our city county councilors, Marilyn Feaster, today, actually on Main Street having a cup of coffee.
Oh, great.
And she talked about pushing for help downtown with the city on that Hawk system. So I know we've got forces coming in from all sides trying to help get that through by the start of school. So that's great. So thank you for that. Any other questions or comments for Jacob? Great. So we'll go ahead and move to reports from counselors. Councilor Fisher?
Yeah, just want to wish everyone a happy and safe holiday weekend, and just wish Don Hickrod a happy retirement and enjoy those grandkids that were in here, so.
For sure. Jason Delisle?
Just want to say, hope everybody enjoys the month of May. Respect your neighbors, and be safe, and have a good month. Or what's left of it, I guess. Good week.
Yeah. Councilor Lindsay?
Also, safe race weekend. All of our town employees, the extra hours that are going to put in to make it a safe weekend for everybody. Appreciate all their hard work, and a reminder that school is out in the town this Thursday. So just be mindful of that. That's all I have.
Great, great. Not a whole lot of new to add to my report. I would say someone sent me a picture of Saturday when the rains hit, and there were, I don't know, 50,000 people in our town at the track, leaving the track and so forth. Some folks had opened up their garages to try and give them a little relief from the hardest of downpours. And it just kind of reminded me of the fact that we have 300,000, I don't know what the exact number is. The Speedway doesn't share that, but by the time it's all done, there's probably 350,000 people in our town either going to the race or servicing those going to the race. For some folks, this is a real challenge, just because they live here, they maybe like racing, but they don't go to it, and it's more of a distraction. If you're one of those, I appreciate that, but I would also say, please be courteous to those that are coming, be hospitable, and if you have the ability to help out folks, we're expecting some weather. Last I heard from Chuck Lofton this morning on television is Saturday and Sunday there could be some weather, so if we can help our visitors out, maybe they'll come back next year and make the 102nd even better. So looking forward to a great race weekend, and it's been a lot of fun already this month. I don't have anything else unless someone else would like to add something. So time is 7:22, and we call this meeting adjourned.